What's going on, everybody? Third week of the First and 10 podcast. We got some things to dive into this episode here. So we got some things that I want to talk about. Some news from the trade deadline. We got top 10, some little bit of things behind the top 10. We're going to talk about New Orleans Saints and what they can do with the rebuild and the tanking, the draft pick, you name it. Anything about the Saints we're going to talk about. So first off, this particular video is going to be about the trade deadline and different aspects going into that. So first up, right before the deadline went, the Ravens traded for Tre'Davious White. I think that's a great piece for Baltimore, considering that they allow 24.3 points per game, which, I mean, Baltimore standard, that's a little high. I'm sure Harbaugh's not too happy about that. If you add a piece like that on defense with how Lamar Jackson's playing, I think that'll solve up a lot of things on that team, bring up the morale a bit. It's going to help that team tremendously. Good veteran coming in. Second up, we got Commanders trading for Lattimore. Washington Commanders sent a third, a fourth, and a sixth round pick to New Orleans for Marshawn Lattimore and a fifth round pick. I'm a Saints fan, and I feel good about this one. I feel really good about this one. It proves to me that New Orleans is ready to rebuild after starting 2-0, very hot, best team in the league after week 2, and then 0-7. This is good for New Orleans. They get rid of that. He's never healthy in New Orleans. He deserves better for what he played in New Orleans. Great cornerback all around, great veteran. So Commanders are doing good. He gets to go to a winning culture. I'm all for that. Next up, we got Cowboys getting Jonathan Mingo for a fourth round pick. I don't like it at all. You got the Chiefs just got D-Hop for less than that. Why do the Cowboys wait so long for anything? You didn't pursue in Derrick Henry and look at him. So then you go out and get Jonathan Mingo, who was picked in the second round. I mean, what's he going to do? I don't understand. Then you got Dak Prescott out. Why even try? You're 3-5. I told you on that one podcast 2 weeks ago, I said the Cowboys are not winning the next 5 weeks. They're 0-2 since I said that. Next up, Steelers land Mike Williams in a pick swap with the Packers and get Preston Smith. Nothing but good things from Pittsburgh at this point. Everything's oiled up in Pittsburgh at this point. They're a hot team. What worries me about Pittsburgh is their ceiling, but we'll talk about that in the top 10. Mike Williams is iffy. So he was great in Los Angeles with the Chargers, but I guess I don't know. I don't think he's washed necessarily. He's definitely not in his peak. But I think he's a great pickup for Russ, another weapon. He could draw some attention, which could leave Pickens one-on-one, and that's a mismatch right there. Even with Pat Freiermuth, you don't want that one-on-one either. So great pick. Then they do a pick swap with the Packers for Preston Smith, add another pass rusher. Team's loaded at this point. Team is loaded. They will be in the playoffs. They will win a playoff game. Mark my words, Pittsburgh will win a playoff game this year. And lastly, what I have so far, the Lions get Zadarius Smith in efforts to replace Aiden Hutchinson for the rest of the season. Great move. I like it. I like it a lot. I like Zadarius Smith. Definitely, again, another player that's definitely not in his peak, but definitely not washed. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how that turns out for the Lions, which, I mean, you can add anybody in that team right now and they would succeed, I feel like. So Lions are the best team in the league right now, so I think adding Zadarius Smith to that pass rush. And they also added Justin Houston, the second. So Dan Campbell actually said he has high hopes in Houston. So you can maybe keep them both healthy and rotate them a bit, maybe a nickel. I don't know, maybe. But I think it's a great pickup for the Lions. Anyways, that is the trade deadline information as of right now. Tune in to the next video for the top 10 teams, and we'll talk about them a bit.